breaking news from CBS 2.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marissa Bailey. We are awaiting a press conference right now from Rockford, Illinois, where Rockford police will be updating us on the active shooter situation that took place around 9:30, quarter to 10 this morning. Let's take a listen, and you'll be hearing from Rockford police.
All right, is everybody ready? All right. Good afternoon. My name is John Posey, John. Last name spelling Pozzi. I'm a deputy chief with the City of Rockford Police Department. I'd like to introduce, first of all, Kurt Wisenhan. He is in charge of our investigation going on right now at this time. He's with the City of Rockford Police Department. I'd like to introduce Marilyn Hight Ross. She is the Winnebago County State's Attorney. I'd like to introduce Tom McNamara, who is the mayor of the City of Rockford. And I'd like to introduce Sgt Thomas. He is the investigative coordinator for the Illinois State Police in this region. Getting started off, I will tell you what we will do is we will entertain some questions at the end, but please, everybody, keep in mind that this is a very active investigation, so the questions that we will be able to answer will be limited at this point. This is based on what we know at this juncture. At approximately 9:15 this morning, regional law enforcement agencies from this area responded to the Extended Stay America Hotel at 747 North Bell School Road here in the City of Rockford. They are responding in regards to a shooting involving a member of a U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. Upon arrival, law enforcement from the area secured the scene. The injured party, which was a U.S. Marshal assigned to this task force, was transported to a local hospital, and he is currently in critical condition. The suspect in this incident fled prior to this large law enforcement response. The law enforcement agencies secured the perimeter of this, and we quickly learned that there was a female acquaintance of the suspect still inside the hotel room. With the assistance of regional law enforcement, this female was extracted from the room. She did sustain a gunshot wound, which at this point does not believe to be from a law enforcement officer. She was transported to a local hospital where she is currently being treated. As I said, the suspect fled the scene, and with the assistance of various technology sources provided by regional and national law enforcement, the suspect was located fleeing the area in a vehicle. He is currently right now involved in a barricaded subject situation with the Illinois State Police and other law enforcement agencies on Interstate 55 south of Bloomington between Springfield, Illinois. I could tell you the U.S. Marshals Task Force that was here to serve a warrant on a suspect who has since been identified as Floyd Brown, 39 years of age. Mr. Brown is from the central Illinois area. Mr. Brown was wanted on warrants out of Sangamon County, Champaign County, McLean County, and he was also wanted on an Illinois Department of Corrections parole violation warrant. We understand there's been some reports of the identity as who the injured officer was. At this point, we are not releasing that because we are allowing family to contact and notify other family members. We can tell you that this officer is a member of the McHenry County Sheriff's Department, and he is assigned to the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Apprehension Task Force, which is headed up by the U.S. Marshals Service. As I said before, the suspect is a Floyd Brown, 39 years of age, and he is from central Illinois, and at this point we don't know of any connection to the Rockford, Illinois area. What I will do now is turn this next aspect over to Lieutenant Kurt Wisenhan, who could provide some information on the investigative follow-up.
Thank you. As Chief Posey said, my name is Kurt Wisenhan. It's Kurtwisenand, and I'm the Lieutenant of Investigations for the Rockford Police Department. Our detectives were part of the initial law enforcement response. And once we determined that there was a law enforcement agent who was injured, we began an investigation. The female, as Chief Posey said, was extracted from the hotel room. She did sustain a gunshot wound. Based on the information we have at this point, no law enforcement officers fired any rounds during this incident. So we believe that based on what we know at this time that the female victim was injured by the suspect's rounds. Based on that information we collected during the investigation, we reviewed the case with the Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office and subsequently got attempted murder charges against Floyd Brown, as Chief Posey stated. We broadcast all that information, the suspect information, to area law enforcement, and he was subsequently located down on I-55 somewhere between Bloomington and Springfield, where the state police were able to secure him, as Chief Posey said at this time. I'll turn the rest of it over to Master Sergeant Sam Thomas from the State Police.
Good afternoon. My name's Sam Thomas, Thomas. I'm a Master Sergeant with the Illinois State Police investigations in this region. And as Chief Posey alluded earlier, once the suspect information was developed and the probable identity of the suspect, and then it was later learned that the suspect had fled the scene, that information, along with the vehicle that he was driving, was broadcast statewide as well as across the border in Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois. Shortly thereafter, troopers in the Bloomington area located the vehicle that the suspect was driving and attempted to effectuate a traffic stop with that vehicle. That vehicle continued to elude the troopers at that time, traveling on I-55 between Bloomington and Springfield. The vehicle eventually crashed in a rural area and is off the interstate. The interstate is shut down in that area by the state police. The suspect is contained but not in custody at this time, and negotiation efforts are in the process with the suspect.
Good afternoon. Marilyn, Hight, Ross, Winnebago County State's Attorney, H-I-T-E, capital R-O-S-S. This morning, my office was notified regarding an incident involving a U.S. Marshal who had been injured. We had been on contact and on scene with law enforcement officers, keeping me up to date moment by moment about what was transpiring. A couple of hours ago, my office issued an arrest warrant for Floyd Brown for the offense of attempt first-degree murder regarding the U.S. Marshal deputy that was injured. We received a $5 million bond for Mr. Brown, and that warrant is out and active until he is taken into custody on that warrant. In addition, the charges that my office has filed carry a penalty of a minimum of 20 years up to 80 years and then potentially natural life in the Illinois Department of Corrections. Those charges are merely allegations, and the defendant is presumed innocent until or unless proven guilty in a court of law. I would like to thank all of the other local agencies who came to assist the U.S. Marshals and the Rockford Police Department, the largest of that agency being the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department as well as the Illinois State Police. We had collaboration with several other law enforcement agencies in the area. We wanted to make sure that the public realized that law enforcement was on top of the suspect and that the local community was not in danger. And I just want to thank all of those law enforcement officers for their collaboration. Our prayers at this time are obviously with the family of the injured deputy, and we wish them well. Thank you.
My name is Tom McNamara. I'm the mayor of the city of Rockford. That's M-C-N-A-M-A-R-A. Obviously, receiving one of the most difficult calls any elected official will receive is when you hear of an active shooting situation going on in your own community. I just want to say first and foremost a tremendous thank you to the number of police departments and law enforcement that came together to partner on this horrific incident. Also, the outpouring of support that we've received from everyone from the governor's office to other mayors of other municipalities throughout the state and the region. I also want to echo State's Attorney Hight Ross's comments. My heart truly goes out to the officer who was injured and their entire family, as well as all law enforcement. When one is injured in such a horrific situation with the tight-knit bond that law enforcement have, every single one of them is impacted. And my heart goes out there, and I just want to say thank you to just some members of the public who have shown their outpouring of support for all of our law enforcement community at this really difficult time, and urge all citizens to continue to keep this officer specifically and all of our law enforcement in their thoughts and prayers during this difficult time.
All right, as I said prior, we can entertain a few questions, but again, keep in mind this is an active investigation, so we can release very little more than what we have at this
point.
point.
Could you go into more detail about the encounter at the hotel with the officer and Mr. Brown?
Okay. We cannot. Again, that's part of the active investigation, and that will information will come out of the U.S. Marshal Service when they are available.
Can you talk about how many other U.S. Marshals were there at the time? How many were on this task force?
We do not have that number. Again, we'll defer that to them when they're available.
You mentioned the suspect was wanted on a number of warrants out of a number of counties. Can you talk about what he was wanted for?
Right now, no. We just have confirmed that they were active warrants, but we have not contacted them. That will be part of the investigation to see what they are exactly for, because these are more of court-issued warrants. So.
John, what was the relationship between the suspect and the female who was shot?
Best we can say right now, they're acquaintances. Now we have investigators that are interviewing her, and that will be delved into further.
And do you know how long he had been staying at that hotel?
Do not at this point. Again, we can access records. That's again part of the investigation.
Did he register under an alias? Do you know?
Can't say at this point.
Do you know exactly where this shooting happened? Was it inside, near the room? Can you kind of specify that?
All right, you've been listening live to a press conference in Rockford from Rockford Police about the active shooter situation from that extended stay hotel this morning. Some of the new nuggets that we just found out. There was actually a second person wounded in that shooting, a female acquaintance of the suspect. And right now we know that there is a barricade situation on I-55 near Bloomington with that suspect. There is a chance and a hope that they're trying to negotiate with him. We will have the latest for you on CBSChicago.com and throughout the day. For now, though, I'm Marissa Bailey. We return you to the talk.
This has been breaking news from CBS 2.